Well, hello. I've finally come back to the old stream again. Right. It's good to be back. What I've got here now then is a dirt cheap, cost about £5, fan controller for a PC. I don't quite know what it does, how it does it, or anything, so I'm going to try and get it going and see what it does. The reason I've got this is I've recently changed the fan in the power supply of my IBM 5150 because the original fan was a mains powered fan, 240 volt fan, and it sounded like an extractor fan in a bathroom. It had that sort of whom, whom, whum sort of sound to it. It wasn't a bad sound, but it was an annoying sound. So I've taken that fan out and I have put in its place an ordinary PC fan. The only fan I had at the time to put in there was an old Pentium 4 CPU cooler fan, which, I mean, it's perfectly fine. It does the job adequately, but it is quite a loud fan. So it's gone from the sound of an extractor fan to the sound now of a jet engine. So what I want to do is, because the fan is just on full speed all the time and it's going very high RPM, so what I want to do is slow it down. But I don't want to slow it down too much. I would like to have a bit of temperature control over it, even if it's just crude, go a bit faster if it's hot and then slow back down to low speed. But having a sort of variable speed in between would be nice, but who knows. Now, I was originally thinking of making my own. It's not exactly a difficult circuit. But then I thought, nah, stuff it, I'll see what's available on Amazon. Came across this for about £5 and I thought, no way I can justify making my own at that price, so I'll just order it and see what it is and how it works. If it is complete and utter rubbish, then I can still go ahead and make my own anyway, but we'll see what this does. And then I can silence my 5150. Eventually I would like to stick a Noctua or Be Quiet in there instead, but for now this will do. I've actually got another fan the same. It came from a Dell Pentium 4, this actually. I had a pair of them, both the same, so that's the fan that's in there at the moment. It is a 4-wire fan, so I should be able to get a bit of control out of it with this. So let's see what's in here. There is, of course, no documentation with this at all. Let's zoom on down and have a look at this. I've got my DSLR set up here now for streaming, which is not ideal because the video out on it is not very clean and it's quite low resolution as well, which is not nice. But it does mean I can record at high quality for putting together a YouTube video of this later on. So that's what I'm also going to do while streaming, is record the footage for the video. So let's do a very quick intro. Now, another thing that happens when I press record on my camera, the aspect ratio changes. Watch this. It's really clever, this. I love this camera so much. Hey, Carrot House, how you doing? Let's hit record and watch this. Hey, crunch. So I've got another scene here that rectifies the aspect ratio, but the resolution goes right down when I hit record. It's rubbish, this camera. It's a Canon 1300D, and while it creates reasonable videos, it's not very good for streaming. But it'll do for now. Okay, so let's do a little intro. I've got here a cheap fan controller off Amazon, which I'm hoping to use to modify the speed of the replacement fan that I've fitted into my IBM 5150. However, it comes with no documentation whatsoever, so I am going to investigate it and find out just how it works. There we go. Right, let's go back to that one. That's a bit better. Right, so what have we got on here? Because we've got dip switches with cryptic names. It's got a beeper for an alarm, and it's got a little thermistor for temperature sensing. I've got the other fan for testing it with. So I don't know if anybody here has tried one of these at all, but it'll be an adventure. Let's start off by just plugging it in. I'm assuming this goes into the one labelled NTC50K3950. NTC, negative temperature coefficient thermistor. Beeper goes into the one called beep, logically enough. Oh, hello. Typical China. We've got what looks like a JST XH head of that, and on the beeper, a JST PH connector. They don't go together. 2.54 millimeter pitch and 2mm pitch. Genius, absolute genius. I don't think I've come across anything quite this silly before. Right, this is going to require some modification first then. Let's just refocus. Right, I'm going to record a little bit about this now, I think. Well, I've just gone to connect it up, and I've found that the beeper supplied with it has what looks to be a JST PH 2-pin connector on it, but the connector on the circuit board for the beeper, labelled beep here, seems to be a JST XH connector, which is a completely different pitch. The XH is a 2.54mm and the PH is a 2mm pitch. So the two just will not go together. So I'm going to have to replace the connector on this, I think, with a JST XH connector. There we go, I couldn't be bothered to change the aspect ratio there. Right, I'm going to need to find my JST XH kit now. I have no idea where that is. What's that? That's fuses. I've got a feeling it's supporting my switch at the moment. So I'm going to have to find a different box to put under there. I'll use my box of car fuses. Whoops, there goes a battery. Box of car fuses. That's now going to be the mounting bracket for my switch. And is this my XH box? No, that's my PH box. Box of PH connectors. My XH one must be on the shelf here. I have seen it recently, I'm sure. It's not up there. That's my heat shrink. Ah, there it is. XH connectors. Ah, and we got Baljamet as well. Hello, hello. All the lads are in here tonight. Now I'll have no scheming on this stream, please. Right. So I'm going to need an XH connector. That's better, fits that one. Right. I'm going to need my crimps as well, which I think are in my toolkit. Those are the ones? Nope. Must be these ones. There we go. Crimps. I need some sort of indicator to go with the pH box. A pH indicator. Oh, I've got I was going to call it Lipton tape. That's tea. Litmus paper somewhere that I could put on it. Right. Let's cut this one off first. And strip these back. This feels very much like CCA cable. Chinese cable, copper. In fact, no, it's not even copper, it's tin coated aluminium. In fact, it's probably just bare aluminium. It feels that sort of light, fluffy wire that's got no structure to it whatsoever. Okay, a couple of crimps. No, hang on, wrong box. Let's get rid of the pH box. The reason I had that as a support for my network switch is it's currently on top of my amplifier, and when my amplifier is turned on, it pumps out quite a bit of heat, which goes straight up into my switch, making the fan ramp right up. So I like to have a bit of a gap underneath it. Right. Clip that one in one clip. I need glasses. What have I done with? Nope, that's microphone. Come back. Oh, nope, glasses aren't up there. I can never find my glasses when I want them. Hang on. Please, somebody shoot me. But no, seriously. I know I'm wearing my glasses, but I need my... there they are in my pocket. I need my other glasses. It's all blurry. That's better, I can see close to now. Okay. Let's see if I can do some crimping. I can never get these in the right distance. And these ones are quite fat wire on them for some reason. So I'm not sure I'll even get it in at all. That looks okay. Let's do the other one. Copper coated. No, I can't see with these glasses on at all. Oxide coated aluminium. Not sure there's even oxide on there. It's allergic to everything. In you go. Click. Next wire. Try and get that into the connector. There we go. Right, they look reasonably crimped enough anyway. No, this is my 5150 this is going in. Which if I had Jarrett's HP200 card would be also going in the 5150, but actually that would probably go in the 486. Usually give up in disgust after 3 crimps and turn the old-fashioned engineer PA09 pliers. Yeah, now I've crimped so many of these cables now, it's pretty much usually a first attempt works. Right, let's slide these in to there. Okay. And that finally plugs in. Okay, now I shall... There are 3 fan headers on this. Let's come down a bit. So, fan 1, 2 and 3. I only need 1 fan connector, though I might add another fan at some point. So I'm going to try and get fan 1 working. I'm going to need power for this as well. I've got a couple of bits of wire here. I have absolutely no idea what they do, Cobb HC. That's why I'm tinkering with it on stream here. I'm trying to work out how it works and how you configure it and even what it does. Whether it does a full... It's supposed to do PWM control, but whether this does just a low speed, high speed, or whether it does a ramp up as it gets warmer or what, I have no idea. I'm suspecting it might just be low speed, high speed, which is set by the 2 trim pots, but who knows? Who knows? Right. This is the horrible, cheap type of terminal block. I hate these terminal blocks. I'm half tempted to rip this one off and put a proper one on. But for testing for now, it'll do. Never seen dips on a fan controller. I've never seen a fan controller before, so I've got no reference to work from. Right. We've got some bits of wire stuck in. GPIB address. That would be nice. A GPIB. Oh, see what I mean? I hate these kind of terminal blocks. They just don't grip wire at all. A GPIB controlled fan speed controller would be glorious. Maybe I'll make one. If this doesn't turn out to actually do the kind of things that I want it to, i.e. cool, then I will be going and making my own fan controller. And if I do, maybe I will add a GPIB interface to it. Because there's nothing particularly magic about the GPIB interface. It's just an 8-bit parallel. Just very much like a Centronics printer port. Bidirectional, of course. With software that reacts to the incoming address, so it'd be easy enough to program it. GPIB big box of relays. Oh, nice. An all discrete logic design. Oh, that must have been an interesting one to create. Basically, you'd be creating an entire finite state machine in discrete logic, which that would be tricky to try and get your head around, I would have thought. Hard enough doing it in software. Doing it in hardware would just be mind melting. Right. Okay, let's get some power on this and see what happens. I've got my bench power supply, which is not GPIB controlled, and 12 volts, currently set for 3 amps, that's plenty. It's also the maximum my supply does. Well, we spun for a bit. Oh, spinning. It is doing things. spinning reasonably slowly at the moment. I'm going to pinch the thermistor in my fingers and see if it'll speed up. No, it's not doing much. I wonder what these dips do. They're labelled TFL, TP1, TP2, BF1 and BF2. Completely meaningless. That's what happens if I just change number 1. Nope, nothing. 2. Nope. 3. Nope. 4. Nope. 5. Don't appear to do anything much. I can't really use that screwdriver on there, it's the wrong shape. Let's try that one. What if I change this? Nothing. Twiddle this one. I'm not sure anything does anything whatsoever on here. Aesthetic only dip switches. Well, if they are, I'll take them off and use them in another project. TFL, Transport for London. Let's turn on the bus service. See if these do anything now. I'm suspecting one might be an over temperature alarm setting, and the other I don't know. Let's see what happens with that. Not seeing anything happening here. Ah, hello. That just suddenly went fast. No, now it's not doing. And now the stupid wire's fallen out. I got this on Amazon for about £5. These terminal blocks are disgusting. I hate them. I'm going to see if I've got a replacement for it. Where are we? Connectors, connectors, connectors. Right. My small box of connectors. I have no documentation, and yeah, I don't really want documentation. I like to experiment. I don't read manuals. It didn't come with documentation, and I haven't actively gone looking for documentation. But if I have to resort to documentation at some point, then I will do, I suppose. Let's zoom out a bit, refocus. What have I got here? 3-pin, no. Plenty of 3-pins. Far too many different connectors. There's some more of the cheap rubbish ones the same. There's a 2-pin. Is that the right size? Hey Vac Joe, thanks for the follow. No, that ain't going to fit in there. But will that match that size? That matches that size, so if I can find the other half. Oh joy, somebody's hoovering now. Let's see, that's the other half for that, isn't it? Yeah. So I can cut one out of here. That will do the job. That's just box of connectors. I have other boxes. Actually, if I grab my other mobile and I go to here, connect, there we go. That's my boxes of parts. No shortage of parts there. Put that away over that. Right, so I want to trim this down now really. I'm going to need something to cut with. That's what I'm looking for. Well, you haven't seen the box that's upended on the floor that's just random components that's just strewn everywhere. I'm not showing you that one. Right, let me get a board. Got lost down the side of my printer. Come on, out you come. There we go. Right, let's take this rubbish off here and replace it with this butchered one. Soldering iron on. Turn off the power supply for now. Solder and solder sucker, solder wick. Shouldn't be too hard to take it off. Wait for the old soldering iron to heat up. I haven't got a fancy one like Shelby. Mine cost about 30 quid. Let's have a squirt of flux on that. Let's zoom down and focus. There we go. Getting up to temperature. And change glasses. This solder sucker is rather crusty and old at the moment. It's time I got a new one. I really need to get one of those fancy Hacko things or something similar. But this kind of does the job at the moment, but I don't often use it. I usually use wick rather than a sucker. Pretty much up to temperature. And it has writing on here, but I've no idea what any of it means. TP1, TP2, offs and ons with up full. Is that temperature ranges perhaps? And then TFL, PWL, fan 1 equals 40%. And then the BF, I suppose, is turning on or off the alarm for them, but it's, even with the silk screen printing there, it's still pretty meaningless. It also says reset the power after setting, so maybe it only reads those at power up. I'm not a fan of solder suckers, especially when they spread solder all over everywhere. Yuck. No, it's just making a mess of that. So I shall do it the cheating way. Heat up that and push it to one side. Heat up that and pull it to the other side. And rinse and repeat. And eventually it all falls out. And there we go. So much easier that way. And then clean it out with Wick. I can't see what's going on in chat at the moment because I've got the wrong glasses on. Hacko, yes, I need a Hacko. Even though they are pretty noisy. That's one thing that's nice with Shelby's fancy one, is it's so quiet. Apart from the compressor, of course, but that's secondary. Cleared through. That's cleared through nicely. Right. Bit of IPA. Okay. Let's put the new one on. I do have one, but I don't use it. I've been soldering for the past 35 years and I've never used one. I do have one, but I just find it annoying. There we go, job done. Now I can get my nice wires and screw them in properly. You don't know the half of it. That's so much more sturdy. And it gives me a plug as well. Right. Now I can get back to where I was before it all, well, didn't fall apart, before I ripped it all apart. So that's in fan 1, and this gives us TFL, PWL, I assume they mean PWM, fan 1 equals 40%. So TFL is the first one. I suppose that's run the fan at 40% and just leave it stuck there. And BF1, BF2 is fan 1 and 2 alarm. There's no mention anywhere on here about fan 3. So I don't know if fan 3 is just on all the time or if that's being controlled by one of the pots or something. I think the L is low, yeah. TFL, T fan low. Don't know what the T would stand for. Right, plug this lot back together again. And a thermostat. Hook up my power. It would help if my cables on my bench power supply were just a little bit longer. I need to make myself some new ones at some point. Right, power on. So it sort of speeds up a bit and then slows down and then speeds up a bit again. Running nice and slow, just a gentle breeze coming from there. So it says to reset it after changing settings. That went considerably faster at power up, but it's still going reasonably slow, perhaps a little bit faster than before, not sure. No, that doesn't seem to make any difference to fan 1. So BF1 would be fan 1 alarm. BF1 is that one there. That's reset with that. That certainly beeps. I have no idea what the pots do. The temperature ranges, I suppose I want 50 to 70 would be okay, which is TP1 off, TP2 on. Okay. If I pinch this, will it speed up? Nope. Let's bring out the big guns then. Hot air, 100 degrees. See if it'll speed up. Yep, that's speeding up. Whoa, that's getting excited. Oh, it's a bit dusty, that fan. Whoa. Whoa, that is off. I wonder if it'll set off an alarm if it gets far too hot. Doesn't appear to. That might be set by the trim pots. Okay, you can calm down now. You can calm down. Thank you. There's short circuit, PF reverse output, SY fan 3 equals fan 2 equals fan 1. I have no idea what that's saying. That's referring to things. There's. If we look down here, there are two tiny little solder jumpers labelled PF and SY. So if I put a blob of solder on there, PF reverses the output and SY links all three fans together, I would think. And interestingly, this chip on it has had the code scraped off it. So it's probably just some generic microcontroller that's been programmed with firmware. And that'll be through these pads down here, which are data, 5-volt clock X and ground, probably reset. Would surprise me if it was a little pick or something like that. Could be. Who knows? Right. So I still don't know what those two pots are doing. They don't appear to do anything live. You could just bridge the SY jumper to test. I could. Doesn't appear to do anything, but that, again, that might only have an effect at power up. I'm going to put both these pots right down to nothing. And then reset it and warm it up again. I have no idea what those pots have done, if anything. I shall put them the other end. And reset it. They've had no effect on the startup. See if I can warm it with my finger at all. No. Warm it up. Nope, doesn't appear to have any difference. I wonder. I've got an idea. Why would they have that setting for linking all the three fans together? Perhaps the temperature control is only controlling this fan, and these two pots control these fans manually. There's a thought. If I were to plug... Yes, okay, shut up you. Plug that into there. That's going at full speed. If I turn this down... It is. It's manual speed control for these two fans. and the temperature control is only for fan 1, unless you link all the fans together with the SY, when these would then be disabled and it would only use the thermistor. Got it. I understand. There's quite a delay on reading the potentiometers. Right, so I can ignore those unless I want to set a specific speed on another fan. Right. Okay, I think I understand this now. Partially. But we've got BF1, BF2 is fan 1, fan 2. There's no BF3. I still don't know what TFL does. It doesn't appear to do anything much. Let's turn that on and reset. And then heat it up. Except I've air blower, air gun. Okay. Does that limit the top speed? Doesn't appear to. Change that over. Plug that back in. Come on. Warm it up again. That gets up to the same pitch of noise as it spins. So nope, nothing's affecting the top speed. So it can still run at absolute full blast if it needs to, regardless of that setting. So no, I have no clue what TFL does. All it says is PWM fan 1 equals 40%. Disconnecting the thermistor had no effect. Let's turn that switch back on. Disconnect the thermistor. No, I'm not sure that's doing anything really. I really don't know what that switch does. So all I can recommend with that switch is leave it turned off. It's worth bunging a scope. Oh, could do. I could do, yes. I could certainly do that. Except why have I got no power on my thing? Ah, this'll do, yeah. Okay. There's my oscilloscope. As if by magic it appears. Let's see what we can see on this. Okay, what do we got? I need a ground connection. Fortunately, they're all labelled on here. So we've got ground is the end here. Let's get some suitable jumpers. So that one there would be ground. And tack would go in there. Let's have a look. I can turn off channel 2, channel 1, trigger menu, source channel 1, rise, okay. Let's take best way of getting into this. Yeah, let's... Yes, okay, I know. Slip that into there. See if I can get that going in as well. Come on. Can I get it all in? Yep, I think I've got it all in at once. Right. Let's see if I can see something on here now. I don't want 20 volts per division, no. There we go. Okay, currently we are running at measure parameters. Okay. We are running at 25 kilohertz, that's about right for PWM. And we've got 39.940% duty cycle at the moment, which corresponds to that 40% setting that it mentioned on the back. That crackle is probably the fact that the microphone's falling down my front here. And I've buried the receiver and all sorts of junk. That's probably there. That might improve things. Right, okay, so we're on 40% at the moment. If I flip this up, if I can get to it now, go in from underneath. And reset. And that's not changed that speed at all, still 40%. So I have no idea what that switch is doing. It appears to be doing absolutely nothing. I can heat up the thermistor. And we're up to 98.9%. And calming down. So whatever that switch is set to, it seems to always go down to 40%. Yeah, you might be right there. They certainly couldn't even spell PWM. They spelt it PWL. Let's switch that back over again. No change. Reset it. Ah, no, we've gone down to 20% there. Oh, come back, thank you. Stop twitching. I do wish it wouldn't twitch like that. There's a slight hiccup in the USB protocol on this oscilloscope. I had to reverse engineer it myself to try and work out how it does it. Right, so that's now gone down to 20%. Perhaps that switch is just a bit dodgy or something. And it was on all the time when it was supposed to be off. Right, interesting. I think I've gleaned enough information here now to proclaim how it all works. Right, let's turn the scope off and disconnect this. Right, time now to make another little part of the video. Right, okay, let's go back to record mode, which is that. Is it going to record? Come on. Why won't it record? I think it's got bored. It's overheating. Let's just reboot the camera a sec. And back it comes. Nope, doesn't want to record. What's going on here? Ah, unplug that. Would that help? There we go, for recording. Okay. I'll just give you a cleaner view. There we go. Right. Okay, I've rewired the beeper with the correct kind of connector now. I've also replaced the terminal block for the power input because it uses the cheap kind with the little leaf that just gently squeezes the wire and will not hold it in. So I've replaced that with a much better one for mine. And I've done a certain amount of digging now with a few hints from fellows on stream, and I think I've got it nailed now how it all works and what the settings are. There is settings printed on the reverse here, but they're pretty meaningless. So it's taken a bit of experimentation to work out just what does what. Okay, so we've got 3 fan connectors on here. Fan 1, 2 and 3. Fan 1 is controlled by the MCU here using the temperature from the thermistor. The temperature sensitivity of the fan and the thermistor is set according to this table on the back here, for temperature ranges of 35 to 45, 40 to 55, 50 to 70 and 60 to 90 degrees C. And those are set using the dip switches TP1 and TP2. That's TP1 and TP2 here. Dip switches 2 and 3. The other 2 dip switches this end here are enable or disable the alarm for a fan stall for fans 1 or fan 2. There doesn't appear to be a fan stall alarm for fan 3, though that might also be covered by fan 2. So currently the alarm for fan 1 is turned on. So if I stop the fan, it immediately starts beeping and the LED flashes. Once you release the fan, it stops beeping, the LED stops flashing and the fan starts spinning again. The final dip switch 1, sets the lower duty cycle for the PWM output on fan 1. It can either be a minimum of 20% or 40% when turned on. At the moment it's set for 20%. An important thing to note is when you change any of these dip switch settings, they have no effect whatsoever until you disconnect the power and reconnect it again. At which point the MCU reads those switch settings and keeps them until you turn it off again. Fans 2 and 3 are manually controlled by these 2 potentiometers. If I just disconnect the alarm and move this fan across to fan 2, We can now vary the speed of the fan by turning the potentiometer. There is quite a delay between the changing the potentiometer and the change in the speed of the fan. But if you want a fan that's just set to a specific speed all the time, you can use fans 2 or 3 and the trim pots to set the speed. There are also 2 small hidden solder jumpers. If I zoom down on here, these 2 little solder jumpers here change the entire operation of the board. One of them reverses the operation, which I haven't tried it, but from my understanding it changes the polarity of the duty cycle basically. So as temperature goes up, instead of the duty cycle going up, the duty cycle goes down. The other one disables these 2 potentiometers and feeds the temperature controlled PWM of fan 1 through to both the other 2 fans as well. So you have 3 fans all running with the same settings, the same speed setting. And that is pretty much the entirety of it. There we go. What time are we at now? 8 o'clock. I think I've got time to maybe have a look at putting this into the 5150. Be adventurous. See if I can find room on the desk to bring up the 5150. Take out its power supply. And sort out the speed. Oh, ow. This is such a lump. Oh. Oh, you can't really see much there, can you? Oh, right. Come here, phone. Oh, there we go. 150. It even has the original cardboard inserts. To be an absolute immaculate condition, this. Okay, onto there again. Right. Let's get into this beast. There we go. There's my baby. Fully loaded 5150. In fact, it's overflowing. I've got cards that I want to put in, but I can't. And of course, there's cards that I want that I don't own that I want to put in. Anyway, need to remove the power supply again. I might need a bigger screwdriver for that. Where's my big screwdriver gone? There it is. That'll do. Speaking of fan controllers, my laptop appears to be trying to reach low Earth orbit suddenly. Maybe it's telling me I should go and make myself some dinner. Absolutely, go and eat. I think my stream is just too hot for it. Come on, out you come, screw. Go. Right. Now, power connectors there. I've got a power connector here. And there's one buried down under there that I can't get to. Push on the back to release the clips. Lift it up. And remove the other power connector. As you can see, I've done this a couple of times. A delayed reaction to having had to join in meetings, dreaded MS Teams, yuck. Oh. Okay, we'll move this out of the way. Okay, now a million screws to get into the power supply. Certainly knew how to build power supplies back in the 80s. One down there. Okay, and we are in. Now my plan is to mount the fan circuit board on here somehow and have the thermistor down on these heat sinks here, or maybe this heat sink or this heat. I don't know which heat sink will be getting hottest. Harold out to the rescue. I mean, I have some JB Weld, but I don't really want to glue it on. I've got some Captain tape in the cupboard that I'll probably just tape it down with. I've already modded it, as you can see, to give a 12-volt feed internally. Whenever I open this up, I like to always just give it a quick check over, just make sure there's no degradation of the caps. These are all 100% original caps in here at the moment. Fortunately, there's no reefer caps. I mean, there are the suppressor caps there, but they're not reefer, thankfully. Yeah, it all looks still in good shape. Right, let's connect up the power. And which way around does it go? Negative towards the centre of the board. Okay. And if this were to go here, that's around this area on the case. Now I want to insulate that really. Let's get my box of tape. There's my captain. My captain. I might just give that a squirt of isopropyl alcohol first. My captain, yes. It was kind of an obvious joke, really. It's gone a bit wonky, but whatever. Do. It's not very tidy, but no one's going to see it. Right, now for attaching the fan controller, which I'm going to put just there, I think, so that's in easy reach of that. I'm thinking I have some number plate tape which I use all over the place for this sort of thing. It's thick enough that it can raise it up away from the board, and sticky enough that once on it never comes off. So I'm just thinking a couple of pieces of this. I might double it up to make it a bit thicker, because that is poking through there a bit. The worst thing with this number plate tape though is it's impossible to get the backing off it. I got there. Come on, off you come. These are a bit bent, these tweezers. There, got it. Okay, yeah, I'll put another layer down. Here. Oops, that's starting to tear off the stickiness. Go off at a side. There we go. Right. So this I'm going to stick around about, don't want it too close to the edge there because there's a lip that goes all the way along here. So if that goes there, that should be clean. And that doesn't go anywhere. I can lift up the whole thing by it. It's such good tape this, but also such horrible tape. Once it's on, and when you try and take it off, it just leaves behind a layer of black foam that's impossible to get rid of. So that goes to fan 1. The beeper, I shall just tuck down here, I think. I want to keep the beeper on there just in case it does decide to fail. I wouldn't have thought it would, but these are a bit of an old fan, so better to be safe than sorry. Let's stick a bit of Captain over it. There we go. Not always. My favourite tape, I haven't got any at the moment, so I might have tiny bits. Oh, did I use it the other day? No, I used it the other day. Is 3M VHB, very high bond, and it sticks as well as this, if not better. In fact, these shelves behind me on the wall here are held up using it. It's used to hold windows in skyscrapers and things like that. And it's more of a rubbery tape rather than a foamy tape, and it sticks like nothing on earth, but when you do remove it, it just peels off in one piece and leaves nothing behind. So it's lovely stuff, but it's not cheap. That's 3M very high bond. Right, I need now to tape this on to I'm thinking here. That's probably the best bet. What are these on here anyway? Let's have a think. What's where here? This is all the high voltage side. That's the rectification and smoothing. So basically it's on the switching transistor you want it really. Is that? No, that's diode. No, TR3. That's. Is that TR3? Yes. And let's. Ooh, hang on. There we go. Camera likes to switch itself off. It gets bored and switches itself off. I'd love to invest in a new camera, but I just can't afford it, so I'm stuck with this one. But I have found that if I have the USB plugged in, it keeps it awake. But if I have the USB plugged in, sometimes it won't record. It's a pain. Yeah, I'm thinking this here is labelled as TR3 and is a very large transistor. And I think that is the main switching transistor. So I really want to have it on there because that's probably the one that's going to get the hottest. So I'm thinking there's actually a little hole down there. It'll fit nicely in there. With a little bit of Kapton over it just to hold it in place. And maybe just a little extra bit of Kapton around it, just extra protection. Although it's all encapsulated, so it should be okay. But there's going to be very high voltages there, so I think just an extra layer of Kapton around it. Won't go amiss. It won't fit down in the hole now, of course, will it? Oh, yep, that just plugs down into there now. And in fact, I don't think it likes to fall out, so I shall tape it as well. Let's pull in on that a bit. Come on. Get that over there. Untangle you, thank you. There, push that down into there. And a bit of Kapton. Just hold it in place. That should do the job. Yeah, the Canon camera, the video output on it is not very clean at all. But I've zoomed it in slightly to get rid of some of the rubbish around the edge. But for a live video like this, it's really not a good camera. Great for doing videos, so long as you don't want any more than about 20 minutes at a time. But naff for streaming. But because I wanted to do the video stuff at the same time as streaming, I thought I should use this camera. Plus my other camera I also use for other things besides streaming. My Brio webcam I use as a video camera because because it's much higher quality than anything else I've got. So that spends most of its time in my laptop bag. Yeah, the camera itself is completely upside down. So I've rotated the whole thing around here. Right. I'm not going to do this right up yet. That's all in there. Right, I'm going to get a sacrificial device. Where is it? That's the one I use. An old rubbish CD player, just to act as a load. And I shall plug this in and see what happens. Okay, there we go. That is so much quieter. Power still works. In fact, that's almost silent. I'll have to see how it behaves once it's on the computer. That's a win so far. Give it a quick sniff test. Doesn't smell like anything's burning. Let's not bury the receiver. Right. Let's rebuild the 5150. Oh. There's something loose in here. What is it? Ooh. Ah, I see. One of the, not really a design flaw of the 5150, but one of the annoyances. Where are we? That'll do it. Get these little clips on the lid which go around the screw fixings, and they do like to fall off. And that ended up right down inside the floppy drive. Right. Power supply. Oh, we need to put the other screws in first, don't we? Oh, I wish. I'm not sure where it would go though, that's the problem. Because this computer is absolutely bursting at the seams. Yeah. Drive control, video and memory expansion, and that's it full. I can't even have a mouse on there. I would love one. I saw the price of one once and said, no, stuff that, I'm going to make my own. And then I thought, no, actually it'd probably be more sensible to design a card that does numerous things to replace multiple cards on there. So I'm tinkering with a design at the moment that contains the memory expansion. Oh, I just realised you can't really see these, can you? There we go. Actually, let's do you a bit of a close-up on there. There we go. So you've got floppy drive controller, CH375B I think it is, USB controller, an E2000 Realtek network card, a Trident video card VGA, and a big chunk of RAM. So I'm looking at creating one that contains the RAM, the CH375 there, and also serial, parallel, possibly an RTC as well. Yeah, I'll be using 2 chips, 2 512K chips, because I could do it with one 512K chip, but the memory decoding circuitry would be a bit painful. But by using 2, I can just have it as a universal card that would work in any system, and you just turn on and off various banks within it. In fact, I've already got the chips. I've had them for ages. So I was originally planning on doing something similar to this for my Amiga, so I bought these for that. But come on, let's focus. I have to have the camera on autofocus, otherwise it gives me a square in the middle of the screen all the time. So yeah, those are the chips that I'm going to use on it. They're half a megabyte each. Yeah, let's refocus again. Yeah, the moment I take off autofocus on this stupid camera, I get that, and I cannot get rid of it. Use 4 of those chips on your homebrew machine because it's 32-bit, but in DIP because it's all on proto board. Have I got that here? I think I'll put it. I'll just put it in the cupboard. I've got 128K chips, I think it is, or is it 256s in DIP form that I've been experimenting with as well, which have been very useful. I even had those running in the Amiga at one point as well. Where was I? Oh yes, I was putting these screws in. I can zoom back out again now and focus. I think-ish. I think that's the last screw. All in, all around. Yep. Okay. So it's this power connector in first. I can put this one in at the same time. Come on, in you go. Right. And get this down onto its clips and slide it. There we go. And power connectors, remembering that it's always black to black. Right, a couple of screws to hold the power supply in. Megabytes. Oh, that's a lot of memory. So what processor have you got in your homebrew? my god, no. An entire discrete component, 74 logic series CPU. You are insane. You are absolutely deranged, as you say. Right. Let's see if this is still working, shall we? I'm going to need a video connection. I'm going to need a keyboard. The trusty Model F. Which I think goes in that side. I can never remember which way it is. Yes, it must be that side because it's away from the tape drive relay. Currently gets up to 6 megahertz. At 7 it loses the ability to subtract, which is a bit of a bind. Yeah. So I need to figure that out at some point because I don't see why. Probably just a propagation delay thing, I would have thought. Just not switching fast enough to get everything through the circuitry in time for the pickup in the registers and the bus at the other end of the ALU. I'm just spouting random words here, by the way. Trying to make it look like I know what I'm talking about. Right. Let's see what happens now when I power up. If anything. Hey, there we go. Testing the memory now. It's not like Shelby's fancy 5150 that counts the memory on the screen. This one just sits there doing nothing for about a minute as it counts silently to itself. Come on. Problem of having a fully loaded system. Takes forever to count the memory. Oh, there we go. Found the SanDisk. Yes, that would be nice. And we are booted. Okay, let's go. And then we sit and wait for half an hour while it counts the free space. Good old 5150s. And where is it? It's... Have I got check? Is there anything else on here? I don't think I have. Yes, I have. Check it. I'm blind. Is there a... speed test? No, that's trying to load off floppy. No, that doesn't work. Where are we? Benchmarks, main system. Oh look, it runs the same speed as the PCXT. Fan's still not doing anything much, just spinning very gently there. What else can we do? Oh, this is always a fun one to see. A benchmark of the USB flash drive. Shocked Pikachu. Blisteringly fast. Much faster than an XT. Average speak time, nothing. 0.8. There's no, what I'm looking for really is like a burn-in test. I can just stress the machine out a bit and just draw a bit more power from the power supply, see if I can heat it up a bit, but I don't think I'll be able to. I don't think it ever really draws much power, this. But no, it seems to be quite happy there, doing its own thing now. That's now so quiet it's usable. Right. Back to that. I'm going to put the lid back on. Yeah, these are the little clips that I was on about that like to fall off. It's the one in the middle here is forever dropping off. So I'll just slip that back on before screwing it all together. Never get this lid on the first bit. Get that over there. There we go. That over there. Yes. Week number 16 of 1984 this computer was built. They started building them towards the end of 82, if I remember rightly. So, Carrot House, hello, you're back again. Hold your excitement. What did you miss? Only everything, absolutely everything. We got the fan system working, worked out how it all works. I've installed it in my 5150. It's all working quite happily. I've tested out the 5150. It's all still working, and I'm just putting the lid on. Putting it back to bed. So now my 5150 is so quiet I can stand to be in the same room as it. I shall give it one more quick test with the lid on, because there's not much clearance between the case and the top of the power supply, and all the air has to come in through that tiny little gap. So I just want to run it once more with the case on, just to see how loud it is in this situation, but hopefully it'll be pretty much completely silent. go. And also so the Carrot House can see it powered up. Where's the video gone? I can't see what I'm doing here. There it is. And power and great heavy mod. I must look into getting an XT to AT adapter so I can use an ordinary AT keyboard in this one, because I mean, it's a nice keyboard this, but my god is it heavy. Right, let's boot that up. I heard it spin up at the start. It's now silent. I can't hear it over the sound of the fan in my network switch. Right, and back to there. That's booting up gradually. Oh, you'll be lucky. I only came across this one completely by chance. I was in the pub with a friend of mine that I sing with, and I just happened to mention that I collect old computers, and he said, well, actually I've got this old IBM thing in the attic that I used to use years ago. You can have it if you want. And my eyes lit up and said, oh yes please. And when it arrived, it was an immaculate 5150 with a 5151 monitor and everything. And here, have it. Manuals and everything. Yeah. So, oh, thank you very much. Don't mind if I do. Right. Let's have a look. And to prove that it can be done, Windows on a 5150. It took a bit of fudging this, trying to get the VGA driver working, but it runs. It's not particularly usable, but it runs slowly, very slowly. This is that patched one, yes, the second version, the one that actually works. But look at that screen refresh. So fast, so fast. And of course I've got no mouse because there's no async card in here, so I can't plug the mouse in. But it can be played with the keyboard. It has now turned into a gaming stream. Let's see, 9 goes on the 10. Where are we? Nothing else I can do is there at the moment. I've got it set to cheating mode. One card at a time. Six, no. Queen, no. 6, no. 8, no. 10, 9, 7, no. 2, yes. Oops, wrong button. I messed that up. It'll come back. 7 goes on the 8. 9 can't use. Nope. Queen, no. 7, no. Jack, no. Ace. That Jack, yes. And I've set it so that it's only moving the outlines. Originally it defaults to moving the entire picture of the card when you're moving around on here, but I've set it to just do the outlines so it is usable. Four on the 5, 3 on the 4, 9 on the 10, 8 on the 9, this is going quite well, almost too well, 7 on the 8, there's another ace, oh, press the wrong button again, oh well, let's put that over there, I want that 6, on the 7, and that 5, and that 4, and the 3, there's a king, that queen goes over that, yep, 3, can't use it, jack no, 6 on the 7, 5 on the 6, queen on the king, no, that's what I want, that's the one I want. Quiet fan, click keyboard, oh yes. The louder the keyboard, the better, the quieter the fan, the better. Now that seems to be the way things are going these days. A computer that makes no noise apart from the sound of the keyboard. I think this is even clickier than the Model M, although I haven't got a Model M to compare it with. 5 goes on the 6, 4 goes on the 5. I've so nearly finished this one. It's so easier when it's in cheating mode. No, I can't do that yet, can I? Let's tidy some of these up. That one goes there, that one can go there. That one can go there. Let's put that 4 over there. Eight, 10, 9, there we go. 9 on there. 7, 2 goes over that. 8 on the 9. 7 on the 8. Put the 6 down there, don't really need to, but what the hell. Last king. Three can go over here. Okay. Let's grab that 4. There's the missing 2. And now there's no auto finish on this old version. I could put my microphone right by the keyboard if you want. ASMR. Here we go. Okay, where are we? You love it all, don't you? No such thing as protection on an 8088. And now the part we've all been waiting for. Such fast. I'm half tempted to just finish the stream here and just leave this running on stream for the next 3 hours. That would be cruel. That is so smooth, that animation. Enough. Not exactly much competition now, would there be? Right. The annoying thing actually with the hard drive that I've got on this USB, it maxes out at 504 megabytes, which is to be expected. The only USB key that I've got to hand to use it is 128 gigabytes. So I've got a 128 gigabyte memory stick with a 504 megabyte partition on it. Kind of ironic, I think. Absolutely. What was I doing? Oh yes, this classic game. I love this game. Oh, I can't see behind the keyboard. I spent hours playing this game when I was younger. Oh, only DOS 3.2. Oh dear. I could be running DOS 2.1 on this one. That's what it came with. So I've upgraded to DOS 5. Come on, wave, next wave. Oh, there we go. It gets quite tricky after a while, this game. Ah, dropped one. Surprisingly addictive. Ah! I'm also complete rubbish at it. Got it, yes. I'm trying to read chat at the same time, which is not good. Ah! Ah! Come back. Oh, no, gone. In theory I could install 5 on it. I think I stuck with 3.2 so I could try dual booting DOS Plus. But it turns out that doesn't like the 1640s Hercules mode very much. It's probably not the fact that it's Hercules, but probably the Hercules card, because a lot of sort of Hercules clone cards have problems with certain video modes from what I understand. That they don't have, they're not 100% compatible in certain video modes. They just it's problems with memory paging or something, I think. So if it tries changing pages, it corrupts all the video. So you probably need a genuine Hercules card, or one that is 100% compatible. I'd quite like to get a Hercules card for this at some point, and a proper CGA card. I've only got the MDA and the VGA at the moment, so I mean, they do me fine, but it would be quite nice to tinker with a few different cards. My first PC was CGA. So, yeah. What else have I got on here? Just wasting time really now. There's nothing else to do on this stream, so I'm just messing around now. Alley Cat, good game. Another game I spent way too many hours playing when I was younger. This is a proper version. I don't have this, of course. Nobody has a copy of this, but it's the clean version, not the defaced version. Yes. No, I can't use my joystick. I'm no good at it, so I'll be a kitten. Actually, it's not good trying to play this through OBS because it's all very slightly delayed. Go away, cat. Ow. Well, Jim Leonard's special though, isn't he? Oh, I am so useless at this game. Right. I think I'm done for the evening. I need to go and hydrate. 9 o'clock. I've been up for 2 hours. I think that's long enough. Oh, I've achieved what I wanted to achieve. Silenced the 5150. And it's working really well. I just need to find something to actually do with the 5150 now, though, of course. It doesn't really have a use other than just playing with things. But I'm tinkering with this, what I call the kitchen sink card for it. So I want to work on that with it. But I'm also, as part of that, I'm looking at connecting up a Spartan 6 FPGA, which I want to use for hardware development. So I'm also designing like an interface card to connect that up, because it's all 3.3 volt, of course, so I need all level shifters and all that rubbish in there. So I'm just designing a little card that has a couple of ribbon cables hanging out the back to do that. But yeah, I mean, I could emulate a 5150 in the FPGA, yes, but where's the fun in that? I mean, you've got a real one sat right here. It's the actual interfacing with the 5150 that I want to be working on, rather than the internal design of the card, because like, the internal design of the card I can emulate and do all that sort of thing quite happily. It's the actual bus interfacing that I need to make sure I get right, and I want to do that through the FPGA, through an actual physical interface. So yeah, that's my plans really for this beast. Let's put it to bed. Oh. And then go and get myself something to drink. I mean, first I have to learn how to program the Spartan 6. I've done a bit of FPGA programming before on the Altera chips, so it's pretty much the same. It's just the tool chain is completely different. Oh, I give myself a hernia putting that thing away one of these days. Whew. Right, it does have its own proper space to live though, of course. Where's me mobile? There we go, it fits down in the bottom of my desk perfectly there. Snug as a bug in a rug. Right, well, thank you for joining me. It's been fun having people around. I don't really have people on my stream to chat to, so it's been nice having a person here to chat to, or 2 people, 3 people at times. It's been good. So yes, well, I'll see you on Discord hounding Jout. I need to get and do more streaming. I'm out most evenings, unfortunately, doing various other things. So it's really only Thursdays that I can stream. Of course, Fridays I can't stream because I'm watching Shelby. Saturdays I can't stream because I'm watching Shelby. Sundays I can't stream because I'm watching Shelby. So it only really leaves Mondays and Thursdays. And I keep getting collared to do other things as well. So yeah, I'll try and stream more on Mondays and Thursdays, but keep an eye out for me. But I can't really do a full schedule all the time, really, unfortunately. So, right, anyway, I'm going to end the stream here. I haven't got an outro yet. I could play you the intro again if you like. In fact, if I were to go, where are we? Starting soon. Let's. Yeah, I could do somehow. I just need to make myself an outro. Oh, that's I'm struggling to find something semi-decent that wouldn't content match, and even things on YouTube Library that I downloaded and then used as the intro and things on here, for some reason do like to still content match on Twitch. It's rubbish, their system. So that's actually a little ditty I wrote. God, it's got to be about 25 years ago now, maybe. I think I used Cakewalk originally for that, and a Yamaha XG sound card, an OR64 Gold, and I'm trying to think what else I had in there. Might have been a Sound Blaster 16. I know I had 3 sound cards in there in my computer at the time, and that's what I came up with back then. It was a long time ago. I haven't really written anything since, but I came across that in my collection the other day and thought, I know, I can use that. So that's now my stream tune. So yes, I'm going to play that and leave you to it. Yes, I've actually got Cakewalk installed on my Cyrix system on Windows 3.11 on there. So I've not tried using it since, but yeah, that was fun days using that. It was so basic compared to what you have now. So, yeah, right, well, thank you for joining me, and I shall see you all on Tech Tangents Discord, no doubt.